Now for our last segment, today Hong Kong's leader Carrie Lam made known her condemnation on the attack on China's main representative office in the city, which happened on Sunday. She also condemned the attack by criminal gangs on ordinary citizens and protesters at a train station in Yuen Long. To discuss this further, I have regional correspondent Elizabeth Law with me. Hi Liz.
Sorry, I don't have any movie anecdotes to make about this.
Yeah, that was the theme going on, but that's okay, no problem. So there are criticisms that the police took too long to respond to the attack on citizens at the train station, and witnesses said that men in white shirts and black shirts, they appeared to target those dressed in black, and those dressed in black had been at an anti-government march. So is this really an attack on anti-government protesters?
Well, the short answer to this is yes, because this is not the first time we've seen it. Previously, at a previous pro-government rally, we've seen these white-clad protesters actually be quite aggressive. They were heckling the anti-government protesters. They were even taunting them. They were threatening to. They got quite aggressive towards them. So this is not the first time, but this is the first time actually that we're seeing it get so serious, and it's quite a lot of blood if you see the pictures from last night. So yeah, I mean, the scenes that you saw, I don't know if we've seen any videos from it, but basically these are guys chasing the protesters down through the MTR station with sticks. It's basically a scene out of a movie, and it was quite horrific. So yeah, it is very disturbing. Of course, Carrie Lam has condemned it, as you said earlier, and she's promised investigations, but obviously this has done nothing to soothe tensions in Hong Kong.
It's like a real life police Hong Kong movie, actually.
Yeah.
There you go, I've got a reference for you there. So why did the police take so long to respond to the clash?
Well, during the same press conference earlier this afternoon, Police Chief Stephen Low had actually said that his policemen are all very stretched, because obviously this protest has been going on for weeks, number one. Number two is that we know for a fact that 4,000 police officers were deployed in Hong Kong yesterday. Most of them were deployed on Hong Kong Island, where the main protest was going on. And of course, this thing in Yuen Long was like a satellite event. Yuen Long from Hong Kong Island, as a point of reference, about 30 kilometers. So that's about not halfway, sorry. It's actually almost the entire length of the Singapore Islands. You can imagine how long it took for the police to get. He said that the police officers had to be redeployed from Hong Kong to Yuen Long. So by the time they responded, it was like 40 minutes later. And of course, in this 40 minutes, since the first incident report, these men in white were still going around, which is the irony of the men in white, were going around with their sticks and really chasing after anyone who was dressed in black, chasing after journalists. There was one journalist who was conducting a live stream when literally she was beaten up by these thugs live while she was doing her Facebook thing. So it was absolutely horrible. Sorry, horrible, not horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was also criticisms on how the 999 hotline was handled.
Yeah, so lots of people were saying that they couldn't get through on the 999 hotline. When police officers actually picked up, they just said things like, "Oh yeah, we know about it." And the worst of all was the fact that one police officer picked up and went, "Oh, if you're afraid, then just don't go out." Which is, I mean, here you are trying to get home and you see these thugs running around, and then you try and call the cops, and this is what they do to you. I mean, obviously, people are very upset about it.
I understand. So what would it take for these violent clashes to stop? And will China step in a more forceful way, or maybe not so forceful way?
Well, that is actually two questions. So to answer the first part of your question first, the short answer is I don't know. No one really quite knows, because I think for this to move on, I think the Hong Kong government needs to make some concessions. But what concessions are there left to make? Can they try to give some sort of incentive for this to stop? We don't know. It looks like quite an impossible situation now. To the second part of your question, you asked whether or not China might step in a more forceful manner. Probably not. Not at this point, because a lot of people are worried, and especially whenever there are big protests or violent events like that, people keep spreading these messages of pictures of tanks, they say Chinese tanks that are moving into Hong Kong, and they obviously are very worried that something like Tiananmen might happen. But we have to remember that Hong Kong today is not Tiananmen in June 1989. There are a lot of things at stake. There are a lot of international interests there. financial interests, companies, and all of that. So China, knowing that, can't just move the military in like that. And secondly, I think the climate is very different, and China has a lot of other things to deal with. Of course, Hong Kong is important to them, but I think the military option is not one that is a high priority at this point.
But certainly we hope something can be done about the gangs that have been going out beating up people.
Yeah.
Hopefully that can be fixed soon. So thank you so much, Liz. I understand you also have a Twitter account. It's Liz Law, and also Claire Huang, our colleague, is on the ground in Hong Kong. So it's Claire Huang INC, both at Twitter. So if you want more up-to-date news on what's happening in Hong Kong, please log on to straitstimes.com or to the mentioned Twitter accounts. So those were our top stories for today. For more news and videos, do log on to straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Alyssa. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, for more big stories.